Welcome to the Get Unbusy Podcast. I'm your host, Kate Philpott, and this podcast is all about throwing your busy work out the window. You deserve to stay locked in on the parts of your business that light a fire under your hoo-ha, all right? The passion-driven freedom lifestyle, not being glued to your laptop every waking minute of the day. It's time to build a business that works for you, not one that works you into the ground. So, let's get unbusy, shall we? Hello, welcome to the Get Unbusy Podcast. Come on, grab a pew. Let's have a little high-level chit-chat that's going to help you take shit to the next level, shall we? Here's some context, right? I mainly work with coaches who work primarily online and who get clients through social media and building a personal brand, right? The reason I work with coaches is because these are my people. These are the people who are craving a lifestyle that most people say is a pipe dream, but they know it's possible. You want to spontaneously go to the south of France next week and work from there instead of cold Ireland? Sure, why not? Like, you can do that. You want to go to Bali tomorrow? How about we plan a little New York trip, like a little shopping trip for next month and live our luxurious gossip girly lifestyle? Like, coaches are people who embrace possibility and the magic of possibility and the fact that you can actually design your lifestyle and not be confined by the limits that most people think they have no control over. The top three being money, time, location. So I fucking love coaches because same. This is the vibe. But at the same time, as coaches, you tend to be very ambitious. Coaches tend to have massive goals. 10K months, 100K months, 7-figure months. And I really am all for that. But when that is your absolute main focus and that's the only thing that drives you, it can become your most natural state to only see the money. So this is where a lot of coaches have the goal of being booked out. And they have the goal of having a waiting list where clients can't even start working with them for like 3, 4, 5 months because they're so in demand. And because they're so in demand, they get to charge way more. And I do get that and I do support it to an extent. But here's where the problem arises. Okay. Being booked out means you're probably taking client calls most of the week. You're coaching clients in Telegram, and that tends to run over the time you put aside for it because you're sending your replies to your comments and they're replying back straight away before you've even finished replying, and that leaves you having to push off the actual growth activities and the actual scaling activities of your business until tomorrow, next week, and so on. Sometimes it even gets pushed off till next month, and you're like, why is this still on my to-do list? Oh yeah, because I haven't done it yet because it keeps getting pushed off because of these minor time pushbacks, right? And growth activities look different for everyone, but there's a lot of things that this could be. This could be being a guest on people's podcasts, hosting guest expert sessions and other people's memberships or group programs, hosting a summit, a bundle, going ham on Instagram Reels, setting up a funnel that automates your income and increases your MRR in the background. Maybe it's mapping out the messaging for your new high ticket space. There are a lot of things that it could be. It could be like maybe you have a coach yourself, you have a business coach or mentor, and they're helping you make bigger strategic moves. And you've gotten feedback from them to, okay, here's your next step. But you're so booked out that you haven't got the capacity to actually make that big next step. And that's where being booked out becomes more of a hindrance than a growth thing. It's actually can be more of a negative for your business than it is a positive. However, in the short term, obviously it's like, woohoo, cha-ching, 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 like dollar signs in my eyes. And I do get it. You're probably like, okay, is being booked out not the goal though? And the answer is yes, but also no. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Yes, because it shows that people want what you offer. You're in demand. You're making money. You've essentially made it in the coaching world. You don't need a 9-to-5 job. You don't need even a part-time job to keep you going. That's amazing to get to that point. But also, no, because being booked out does trap you to an extent. It does keep you in this constant loop of serving, without ever really building something that gives you freedom and getting a streamlined business in place where you actually have the time freedom to, take the rest of the day off when you're fucking tired because you want to take the day off because you're tired. Or you just, when you feel like a bit of a creative block and you're like, what I actually need today is to just go and have fun and disconnect from my business. Like you can actually do that because you're on top of your shit, as in your to-do list isn't strangling you. Obviously, because I'm a productivity strategist and I specialize in systems, I am all about you serving your clients being something that informs the evergreen masterclasses, the resources, and all that stuff that you create that your current and future clients can benefit from. And you really didn't start this business. Like, let me just level with you for a second. You really did not start this business to work 40-hour weeks, 50-hour weeks, 60-hour weeks, drowning in client calls, constantly checking Telegram or Voxer, whatever you use, feeling guilty when you want to take an afternoon off or even just go on your lunch break, let alone go on that last minute Bali trip without worrying about time zones and all of that. And without worrying about the fact that you're going to be on like a 15-hour flight, like this is where the shift really needs to happen. I do also get that the 40, 50, 60-hour weeks, you tell yourself, well, this is temporary. Of course, I'm not going to be working 40, 50, 60-hour weeks forever. Of course, I'm not. This is just to get me to that first point where I have that bit more financial security and I'm in a better place and I'm a bit more visible with my business and all of that. But if you couldn't do it for 5 years, don't do it at all. Like, if you can't uphold like 40, 50, 60-hour weeks in your business, 40 is a full-time job anyway, so that should be fine. But maybe you've got other stuff going on. Maybe you've got kids. Maybe you've got like also a part-time job. Like, there are other things that tend to be going on outside of our business as well, which is my exact point. We should have the ability to do both. Literally get you a girl who can do both. I'm all for a short-term sprint. Like, sure, take a month and be like, I'm going balls to the wall this month and I am going to go above and beyond and I am going to take more action than I usually do. But know that that's a season. And then out the other side, there's going to have to be a season of, whew, or at least like a little bit more soft CEO or soft girl era. But this is where the shift needs to happen, because if your calendar is maxed out with clients, when do you have time to build wealth? When do you have the space to enjoy being in your zone of genius when all you're focused on is, okay, go, go, go. What's next on the to-do list? Because I don't have time to shit right now. Like, and when do you create scalable offers where it's the same amount of work for you, whether 10 people are in or 100 people are in or 1,000 people are in? When do you get the chance to build automated funnels that are selling for you in the background or set up passive income streams? Like, that's the stuff that's really building. It's given dream business because you're not tied to it. I'm not saying you have to only work 5 hours a week and be outside of your business for the rest of the week if that's not what you want. I personally love my business. I want to be in my business for many hours a week, but there's a difference here. I don't want to have to be in my business for 40 hours a week. Right now, I work around 20 hours a week in my business, but sometimes I'm like, no, I'm really in the fucking flow right now, so I'm going to keep going. Don't you dare tell me to stop just because it's time for dinner. Like, I am going to keep going because I'm in the flow and this is my favorite way to work. I've been in hermit mode all day and I'm just going and going. Hermit mode is my personal favorite way to work. I'm like, let me just lock myself in a room and see no humans. Like, that's where my creative juices be flowing. Anyway, let this be the reality check that being booked out is not the flex you think it is. It's actually not. Booked out is a flex up until a certain point, but it's still like level 1 flex. We're talking level 3, 4, 5 flex is having the same amount of money or more coming into your business, having like multi 5 figures in MRR coming in, whether or not you show up. And I'm doing air quotes over show up in the day-to-day in your business, whether or not you post on Instagram, whether or not you send out that email, like the money be flowing anyway, and your clients are happy anyway because they're getting what they need anyway from your containers. So genuinely, what is a flex is making money while you sleep. I know it's become a bit of a cliche, but literally waking up to Stripe notifications, some from unexpected new customers and others from monthly recurring revenue, that is some of the best feeling ever. Working no more than 2 to 4 hours a day in Spain and seeing your business grow and your clients getting exactly what they need from your containers, that's a fucking flex. Knowing that if you stopped taking one-to-one clients tomorrow, your income wouldn't disappear overnight. That is a fucking flex. And your business not crumbling when you take a few days off because it still thrives whether or not you show up in that live energy. Sometimes we do just need a couple days, and it's not even like, maybe it is a mental health thing, but it doesn't even have to be. It might just be like, your girl needs a rest. But like, that is the vibe of your business at its next level. That is the energy we're stepping into. That is what real financial and time freedom looks like. In today's episode, I want to walk you through how to break free from the booked out trap and really step into a business model that actually supports the lifestyle you've been dreaming of. So I will dive into some strategy here, at least to start off. Okay, so first off, a big piece of this is how your offer suite is set up. Now, this is something I could literally talk about for days, but in this case, all I'll say is make your biggest focus your scalable offer or offers. The offer where, like I said before, if you had 10 times the amount of people in there, your workload wouldn't change much. It could be memberships, it could be group programs, it could be a self-paced course. If one-to-one is a big focus for you right now, I just invite you to have a think about how you could incorporate even just one scalable offer into your offer suite, because this is honestly the way. That's what allows you to serve more people without trading more hours. Now, this has been a very important pillar for me, building my streamlined business, and I went through a period of restructuring last year, and honestly, it's been the best thing I ever did, not just for my own business growth, but also for my clients and for the life that I get to live, because I'm not constantly drowning in more stuff to do anymore. It's just easier and it's just smart. To be honest, like, it's just smart. Now, I'd love to talk to you for a sec about building an evergreen sales system, okay? I'm a fan of live launches. I am. I do them like 3 to 4 times a year in my business. Like big live launch, like big push towards one particular offer. But relying on those alone is really fucking tiring. Really fucking tiring. You know, you need to find a way. How are you going to find a way to make sales while you're out living your best life? While you're out bringing yourself out to brunch just because, going on a cute little coffee walk in the middle of the week just because. That's where the automated funnels, the evergreen webinars, the passive products and all, that's where those things come in. Anything where you set it up once and it keeps bringing in sales without you needing to constantly show up or change things or, doors open, doors close, or send live emails about it. Like anything that can run in the background, hell fucking yes for me. Because yeah, we want to be able to do the live launches, but we also want to benefit from the passive income coming in as well. Particularly if, and this is just for me, but particularly if that passive income is focused on increasing your monthly recurring revenue, because that's just going to create that sense of safety in you, that financial security of like, okay, I've got like my monthly recurring revenue is like, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000. And that's without me selling anything else this month. So then, yeah, you're going to show up and sell. Of course you are, because you run a business, but it's not relying on that. If it is relying on that, that's where the needy energy can come in, which tends to repel people anyway. So of course we want to be in overflow as a default. What a vibe that is. Another thing here is mastering your boundaries with clients. So ideally, you want to set the expectations right from the beginning. If your DMs and your Telegram or your Voxer or Slack are constantly buzzing and you've got notifications on and you're constantly back and forth and you can never really get on top of all the messages, this is where some things need to change. Boundaries need to be put into place. So what I'd recommend is to batch your responses and use like office hours. Now, this can look different for everybody. For me, what I like to do is, okay, if you are in Telegram with me, I'll be on between like 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And I have the boundary of if I'm in the middle of replying to you and there's a couple of replies, wait to respond until I've finished my replies. And then you can respond, right? Because, like, when there's like 3 or 4 voice notes going, so like the client sends 3 voice notes and then you send 3 voice notes replying to each one, one one reply to each voice note, and then they send another 3 and then you send one, and while you're sending the second one, they're already replying to the one you've just sent, and it can get very overwhelming and confusing. For me, my brain is like, I just crumble. I'm like, okay, I need to just make sure that I've replied to everything and then we can continue the conversation. Then you can continue to reply. And then the other thing is like, yeah, I'm also gonna hop off for lunch for an hour. Yeah, you know, don't worry about me not replying unless it's more than this amount of time. And that boundary is always going to be communicated right at the beginning of working with a client. But if you're a while into working with a client, still just be like, okay, we're this far into this container. I'd love to just reset the boundaries a little bit. This is what you can expect of how quickly I'll reply. If you think that I missed a message, just bump it up, but only bump it up after like 24 hours or something like that. Little things like that that are going to make you calm the cax a little bit, because you're like, oh, okay, so I can actually close Telegram and I can go and be working on some big needle moving things in my business. And I don't need to keep checking Telegram because I'm not panicking about the client waiting for my response. I will respond. I'll respond today. I'll get back to them. But in the moment, in the right now, I still get to focus on the really important things that I need to focus on today, right? So those are the strategy pieces I wanted to mention. Now, I also am going to talk a little bit about the mindset shifts. Just pour in my monster. As a Virgo sun and Capricorn moon, I'm a big strategy girly. I'm a big planning girly. Like, oh, it just gets me going. But the strategy alone, without the mindset side of things, tends to just fall a little bit flat. So if the belief where you're sitting right now, where you're thinking being booked out is the way for me to make a shit ton of money right now, and it's the only way, then essentially you believe that more clients equals more success, which at first glance sounds like, sure, of course that makes sense. But it's actually potentially going to sabotage things, because more clients also equals more time output. And there are only so many hours in the week. So you've obviously got a certain amount of capacity for those clients each week. So to believe that more clients equals more success, and when I say more clients, I do mean more one-to-one clients. When we believe that, we're actually going to hold ourselves back. So let's reframe some shit. I want you to stop thinking that being booked out is the definition of success. And I want you to believe now having time freedom is the definition of success. It's really not a flex to have the most full calendar with calls and Telegram and, all of these things. Your calendar is still at the mercy of other people. But like, you got into this business to be your own boss. It's something to think about. There's also the fact that a lot of coaches believe, oh, I need to be really hands-on with every client. I believe I actually create transformation through my systems, not just individual conversations. So, and here's where people get like, obviously you have a responsibility to, if somebody is paying high ticket prices to be in your close proximity, of course, there's a responsibility to give them that close proximity. And I'm not arguing that. But there's a lot of ways that you could create their transformation in a more lasting way that like every time you respond to a question or provide some kind of insight, that you either take that audio and anonymize it, or take the name out if you're gonna, or take the personal details out and send it to your membership, or transcribe what you said and turn it in, let it inspire an Instagram post. Or there's so many ways that you can use your other work to create other amazing work and create transformation for more people. Because if one person, and they always said this in school, there's no stupid questions. If you have a question, put your hand up, ask the question, because if you're thinking that question, then somebody else probably has that question too. So if one client has that question, whatever the question is, and you provide the most fire fucking answer, do you really only want one person to hear that fire fucking answer? Obviously, like I said, the personalized part, yeah, they are close proximity. So, keeping the close proximity, and I'm not saying send all of your personal one-to-one messages to your whole email list, but it can inform future membership content, future group program content. If you've got a free Telegram channel that people can listen to audio trainings, that can inform a training for that. It's oh, well, a client asked me this question and I thought, you know what? Let's have a conversation about this and then give a training on it. Even if you don't go into as much detail as you would have with that one-to-one client, it's still, you're creating content for your Telegram channel where you don't have to just start from a blank, I'm going to say page, but it's an audio training, but you know what I mean. Now, another mindset shift to have here is that, and a lot of people believe this, that they have to hustle and work hard to make more money. And yeah, if you build it in a certain way without the strategy pieces that I've mentioned, then absolutely that can be the way. But when you make the strategy shift and you make this mindset shift, that actually money flows to you when you create more space and when you have more fun and when you're creating from desire and high vibes, money flows to you way easier because you're already in overflow. Therefore, you are a match for more overflow. And when you do find that you're feeling the pull to work harder, is the pull coming from, I need to do this to hit a certain quota, I need to do this to prove myself, I need to do this because nothing else I'm doing is working? Is it coming from that? Or is it holy shit, I'm so excited to do all of these things. I cannot wait. I've just got to work on my laptop. I'm going to create loads of Instagram content. I'm going to bombard my Instagram Reels feed. I'm going to show up on 10 people's podcasts this month. That is coming from an excited energy, and the energy with which you do things has a huge impact on the result that you actually get from those things, right? So it's another thing to consider. Now, I feel like I actually could go on and on and on about this. I've mentioned some strategy, I've mentioned some mindset. Maybe in the future we'll go deeper on even individual points I've brought up here. But I want to mention your next step from here, okay? My challenge for you is to take a moment today and ask yourself, what would it actually look like in my life? What would my life look like if I was making more while doing less? What's one small step that you can take today to move towards that? And what I'll say as a side note to that is, when I say doing less, I don't just mean leaning back. I don't just mean letting go. That's actually not exactly what I mean. For me, doing less is, I get to do less because my systems are doing most of the busy work for me. My calendar isn't packed full of shit because my automations, my SOPs, my template banks are making it so much easier to get a lot of my work done, that I just get to slap my hands together, kick back and be like, okay, well, all that stuff is done anyway. So it's not like I'm sacrificing getting certain work done. It's it's still getting done. I just have more time. So something to think about. If you're oh, okay. And if you're thinking, Kate, what is this sorcery? I want this to happen ASAP. you want to come join me inside Work Smart Academy. This is my membership where I teach you how to optimize your time. We do time management stuff in there. We do systems stuff in there. We do offer suite stuff in there. And it's essentially productivity in business in a way that supports your dream lifestyle. The link is in the show notes. It's an absolute vibe. Every single Friday we have a plan sesh where we plan our next week and we listen to some bops and we have a fun time. We've got a Q&A database in there with all of the previous Q&As for the past like year and a half. Every single question in there, it's in an Airtable, so you can easily find any question and you can see like what category the question is in. You can see the duration the question is in. If you're like, you know what, I'm only going to listen to Q&As that are less than 5 minutes right now, you can filter it by that and only see the 5-minute ones. There's a lot. There's a lot. And then of course like a whole membership portal and a community and everything. So it's an absolute vibe. It's only $37 a month. Biggest no-brainer ever in the productivity space. So go ahead and take your little moment today and have a little think. What would it look like in my life to make more while doing less? And if you want to take it to the next level, the link is in the show notes to join Work Smart Academy. Okay, I'll see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this. I will chat to you very soon. All right, gorgeous. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Get Unbusy podcast. If you got some juicy golden nuggets from this episode, I want to hear about it. So take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at More to Life Kate, because your girl wants to know. And remember, you're an absolute powerhouse. You can create the life you've been dreaming of, and I can't wait to see you pop off. Chat to you soon. Bye.